Welcome back to Brandon Farm. Today's agenda is going to be tarping the tomato beds. So I bought weed fabric off of Amazon, and I think in the last video I said that I was going to link it for you guys. Still trying to figure that one out. But we're going to tarp the tomato beds today. It looks a lot colder in here than it is. It's like 44 degrees in this greenhouse. All of my plant starts are watered and doing well. Everything still smells a little bit like cinnamon. I don't know if you saw that video, but dusting your plants with cinnamon, there's a lot of benefits to that. So no harm, no foul, just sprinkle. So I'm going to tarp the beds. Then we're going to heavily mulch in some areas. And I just talked to my husband, and I think I might commandeer another space to garden. So I'm going to create a squash bed, squash plot, squash space, whatever you want to call it. I've got some space between both fences, my garden fence and then our property fence. So I think I might make a little squash plot. Anyway, my husband is trimming trees, cutting down limbs. We got the bonfire going today. And I cut a few, well, he cut a few limbs for me to put in my chicken run, because the chickens really like roosting on the natural branches. Oh, they're up to something. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. I've never laid out weed fabric before. To be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm gonna put it out with stakes, only because I don't have any like extra like bricks or rocks to like tarp it down, I guess. I am a little bit worried about putting holes in it and it ripping and then only being good for one season, but we're growing messy over here and we're just gonna test it out. So that's the plan. Put weed fabric over the tomato beds in hopes that it prepares my soil that much more for spring. And it's, weed control. Once I do my pattern of holes to plant in, the idea is to cut down on your weeds. Anyway, just another method of gardening that I haven't done before that I want to implement. So that's what it's all about over here. Doing things we haven't done before and having that confidence to try it and just go for it. And if it fails, we learn. If it succeeds, we learn. So it's a win-win in my book. So let's get started. So this is what I'm using. This is just a landscape fabric, professional grade. It's a 3 foot by 100 foot, and it's 5 ounces. So it says to prepare your area, lay out the fabric, spread your material, and maintain. This may not be the right stuff. Oh no, it is. Okay. All right. Why would they do that? So it's like a furry material on one side, and then it's like a plastic material on the other. Which I'm assuming the plastic part is the part that you'll be burning into, the part that faces up. So what you're gonna need for this project, or what I think I'm gonna need for this project, is the fabric, obviously, prepared beds. So all I've done to prepare my beds is I put compost down, I put manure down, I put peat moss, I've watered them. It rained yesterday. I did plant a few things in them whenever I lost all my seeds. If you saw, all of my seeds got ruined. And in a blind panic, I put some seeds in these tomato beds, but I really don't want them in there. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need the fabric. You're gonna need garden staples if you want a staple. If not, you can always just line it with like brick. or rock or stone or something to hold it down, because it's gonna try to fly up in the wind. Another thing I'm gonna go grab right quick is my little mallet so I can hammer these staples in. That's one thing I'm kind of worried about, is if I put too many holes in it, is it gonna be useful year after year, or am I gonna have to replace this every year? It's a big question. All right, I'm gonna go grab my mallet. So I have two different size staples here. I have these little guys, and then I have the big honkers, so you can see the difference. I think I'm gonna do these big guys in the corners. I really hope I don't regret this. I'll probably just get enough down to hold it, and then I'll probably have to order more. So before I put any more in, I'm gonna unroll it. As I'm looking at this, it's 3 feet. And I think my beds are a little wider than that. In order to compensate that, I think I'm just gonna heavily mulch like the sides. So like all right here, where you can see the bed is kind of hanging out on both sides, I'm just gonna put a thick layer of mulch. We have an abundance of mulch, and so I don't think that would be a problem. And I was gonna cut it at this bed and then continue my other bed, but I think I'm just gonna keep rolling it and then mulch the center. That way it kind of helps keep the seams down, if that makes sense. Probably not. Let's just see how far it'll roll out. Okay. Just noticed right here I've got some grass growing up. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that. And all these major sticks and stuff. I don't want anything tearing it up. Keep it centered. I've got it all laid out, and you might be asking me, well, why are you putting out weed fabric? What's the point? What's the purpose? For one, it's something I haven't done before. And if you know anything about me, about watching my channel, you kind of know that I'm all about doing things that I haven't done before. Because I want that experience in doing it, and I want to be able to say, oh yeah, I tried that once, it didn't work out for me, or I couldn't figure it out, or yeah, it was really successful. So my purpose of laying out weed fabric is a couple of reasons. One, I haven't done it before. Two, I want to keep that warmth in my soil. Okay, we're still getting kind of cold. Keeping that warmth in there, I would think, for one, helps your plants thrive, maybe, and then also weed control. So if I can get this fabric down tight enough, I think, on all sides, and have it stay until I'm ready to plant in it this spring, and this is only going to be tomatoes. This whole bed is all going to be tomatoes, all different varieties, and I need to go through and actually figure out which ones are determinate and which ones are indeterminate. That way I know which ones I need to trellis, because that's another thing on my list of things I want to get done before the season, is trellising my tomato plants, because if they're indeterminate, they're going to grow to an indeterminate height, and you need to trellis them. And I also want to prune them to like a 1 liter or a 2 liter system, but we'll get into that whenever spring hits, and I'll explain all of that all over again. Determinate just means that it's going to be more of like a bush variety. It's only going to grow to a determinate height and then stop and then kind of bush out. So those ones I'm not going to so much worry about trellising them, but the indeterminate ones I will be trellising. So I'll probably have an indeterminate bed and a determinate bed, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of the reason why I want to lay out this weed fabric. I think it's going to be more organized as well once my husband is able to burn the holes in it. That way I know exactly where I'm planting. I can space it how I want it, and everything has its little spot, right? So in my mind, it's all organized. And if it controls weeds better, great. If it holds in the heat better, even better. So that's why I'm doing it. Have you laid out weed fabric before? All right, so I've come to the end. I need to go grab a pair of scissors or something to cut the end, and then I will staple the pieces down.
You want to just keep an eye on there? Should be fine. I got enough on there now. It'll go while I'm doing my thing.
He put me in charge of the fire because he's gonna go cut another limb down. Of course, it's right in the middle of my project. Ain't nothing better than living in the country and having a bonfire, right? After a rain or during this crappy weather, it's the best time to be doing this. I don't know, there's just something about it. I can sit here, pop open a brewski, and hang out all day. This is my kind of country living. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, we kind of came from the city, right? I think I always joke that we're country folk living in, the city. I think we've always been country at heart, but now that we're out here, we get a little bit more taste of what it is to be country, if you will, and it just makes us want more. We want like 100+ acres and the biggest dang garden of my dreams, and all things included, animals, cows, donkeys, you name it, I want it. It's definitely something I wish we would have grown up in, but like I said before, I'm still thankful that we grew up in the city, because had we not, I would have not met my husband. I met him when I was 13. We started dating, and it's kind of been history ever since, right? He lived like, I don't know, a few miles down the road from me, basically my whole life. And then I met him in school, and I still remember him leaning up against the locker and being like, "Will you be my girlfriend?" Yeah, so we've definitely been together a long time, about 20 years, so it's been good. And now we're out here living this life, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get more land, more projects, more stuff, because that's what we enjoy doing. We like to keep busy. We like having all these projects and just living this slow, intentional life. And by slow, I mean only on Saturdays, because, well, not even Saturdays, really. Sports are fixing to start up. My kids are in t-ball and soccer, so we're going to be busy. So I think we're just taking this weekend just to chill. I do want to say on here real quick that today is my father-in-law's birthday. So happy birthday, Dawn. Happy birthday, Pops. Wish we could be with you today. Yeah, but I hope you're having a wonderful day. So happy birthday, and know that we're thinking about you and that we love you. And enjoy your day, Just take that time for you. And I saw one of your posts, I hope you have a Miller Lite kind of day. So I'm gonna pop one open for you later. Cheers to you. Hope you're having a good one. All right, as you can tell, the wind is already catching this fabric. I may need to get this stapled down as quick as I can. But I think I'm gonna run out of staples. So I found these scissors. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it at the end. And then I'm gonna start stapling everything. Yeah, hang out with me while I mulch my garden. So I'm mulching for a couple of reasons. Someone once said that a bare Mother Earth will cover herself, right? Because she doesn't want to be naked. She's a modest lady. Anyway, so if you have bare soil, exposed bare soil, then Mother Nature is going to try to cover it. So I got all this mulch a while back. Matter of fact, I think I have a video on free mulch, although I'm not completely convinced that it came from chipdrop.com. I called Tri-County, which is our electricity company here in town, and they do a lot of tree trimming. So I figured if they're going to be dropping off mulch anywhere, we'll take it. So anyway, I did a whole YouTube video on it. Just you gotta scroll down and look for the mulch video. So I'm using it all. So I've got it in this crate, and I'm just very carefully putting it in between my onion sets. So I planted these onion sets a while back. Matter of fact, I probably should have put the date on whenever I put them out. And now I'm just mulching in between my onions because I had bare soil and I don't want any weeds. I don't want anything taking nutrients away from my onions because they're doing really well. So I'm gonna mulch in between my onions, and I'm gonna mulch in between my snap peas, which is over here in this bed. Yeah, I'll tilt you down here. Okay, so I've just got my crate, and I'm just taking a little handful and kind of maneuvering it in between my onion. Starts here, being careful not to smash any of them. I actually put onions in at 2 different times, and I don't think I wrote the date down on either one of them, but I can probably go back in my videos and look it up. Some of them aren't looking too swell. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing over here in my snap pea bed with my muscadines. Just gonna start on one end and work my way down. And all right, so I've got snap peas coming up here, and I've got some weeds coming up. I don't want the weeds. So the only reason I'm not crazy, wow, look at that guy, crazy about mulching the entire garden is because now it's going to be harder to tell where my walkways are, because not everything has come up yet. Clearly, I haven't planted a whole bunch other than my mess up seeds that we threw out. But I've got a row of snap peas here, and I need to look up. My mom's saying that they need to be trellised, so I need to double check if I'm gonna have to trellis my snap peas. So on this back side, I don't really have a whole bunch, so I can just fill up the whole back side. All my snap peas are in a row right here, except for one. got a little wild. Didn't even make it in the bed. So all this mulch was free. Free mulch. Can't go wrong with free mulch. All these little snap peas coming up nice. So another reason why I mulch is to maintain my moisture level, right? So if you have uncovered dirt, your soil, it's gonna dry out faster than it would if you covered it with mulch. So I don't want to drown out my plants here, but I do want most of that exposed soil covered. These chickens getting on my compost. I redid the compost the other day. I don't know if I ever did a video on my compost system, but I created this 3-bin compost system. Anyway, I'm only 5'4", and I had screwed all the boards into it. And there would have been no way for me to move one section to the next section to the next section. So I made all of these boards in here removable. So I can just pull them out whenever I need to switch them over. So I think it'll work out much better. Much better. Looks like my snap peas stop right here. And I know I planted more. I've heavily mulched on all sides of this weed fabric. All the way down on both sides for a couple of reasons. The wind was already trying to pick it up, and so I didn't want the exposed sides. And then 2, I think it'll just help with moisture and keeping some of that heat in is the idea. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna do today. I think tomorrow's agenda is gonna look like me mulching the front flower beds. I have a few more beds in here that I think I might throw some mulch on just to protect it a little bit more. But that's basically it. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. As always, be sure to like and subscribe and comment on our channel, because that's what helps you get more views, more exposure, you know, all the things. I'm still learning as I go. Don't know what I'm doing quite yet. And also, like I said before, we're on Instagram if you want to follow us there. Grow Brandon Farm, and we're also on Rumble if you're familiar with that platform. So we'll see you around. All right, let's get that freeze frame. Sit in my okra bed here. We're just gonna see ya.